To factor this expression, 2 sine squared of x plus 3 sine of x plus 1, we have to recognize that this looks like a quadratic. Okay, we've got something with a squared variable, something with just that regular variable, and then the constant. And so to more easily recognize this, I'm going to write this using a little substitution. Let's suppose let's just say u was equal to the sine of x. The reason I would do that is because sine of x is the thing that repeats here. One time it's squared and the other time it's not. And if I make that substitution, then this expression becomes 2u squared plus 3u plus 1. And so now I see, okay, this is a quadratic in the variable u, and then we can use our quadratic factoring techniques in order to factor this. So let's briefly go through that. With a quadratic, if you have a leading coefficient that is not 1, you multiply that by this last number here. So multiplying those two together, I get a 2. And I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to be 2 and that add to be 3, which is 2 and 1. And what we do with those two numbers is we split this 3u up into those two. So 2u and 1u. And then we're going to factor this by grouping. And so to factor this by grouping, in this first pair here, I can pull a 2u out, and we're left with a u plus 1. And in the second pair, there's not really anything I can pull out. I'm going to write a 1 just so I can see that in this next step that I do. So pull the 1 out, and I have u plus 1. And now, because there's a u plus 1 for both of those, we're going to factor that out, and we're left with the 2u plus the 1. And that's our factored form. Now that's factored in terms of u, but of course our original expression was sine of x. And so we're going to just go ahead and plug that in. We get sine of x plus 1, and then 2 sine of x plus 1. And that's our factored expression.